We've seen the concept vehicles, the camouflage cars and the endless teasers, but the wait is finally over. This is the finished version of the Mercedes-Benz X-Class, or what Benz is calling the world's first premium ute. But it's not just looks and no substance, it'll carry 1.1 tonnes, can tow up to 3.5 tonnes, and Benz promises we'll be able to go off the beaten path with the best of them. Now, we're not here to drive it, unfortunately, that will come later in the year, but we have been offered to go as a co-pilot, so let's get taken for a spin. That's right, we're not actually driving the X-Class yet. Instead, we're limited to a brief passenger ride on a racetrack and a little bit off-road, so we'll be reserving any kind of real driving judgments until a little bit later in the year. But what we can tell you is a little bit more about the X-Class itself. So, the crucial bits, it is a real ute. 1.1 tonnes of load lugging ability in the back, 3.5 tonnes in towing capacity, and you can have an on-demand or full-time four-wheel drive setup with low range and a rear diff lock. There's also 3 engines in Australia, 2 4-cylinder diesels borrowed from the Nissan Navara family that will find a home in the 220D and 250D, and a bigger Mercedes-sourced diesel V6 in the 350D that will arrive a little later. There will be 3 distinct flavours too. The pared back Pure will form the workhorse variant, the mid-spec Progressive model will then up the styling and technology, while the top-tier Power is pitched as a lifestyle vehicle destined to appeal to those who will use it as an SUV replacement. Our super brief passenger ride in the bigger of the 4-cylinder diesels, the 250D, included some high-speed cornering, some sharp direction changes, and a brief run off-road that was brutal enough to reveal that Mercedes tinkering with the X-Class doesn't appear to have hurt its off-road chops. The X-Class runs the same coil spring setup as the Nissan Navara, but Mercedes engineers have given their car a 7mm wider track at the front and rear, and completely reworked the suspension in the search for better dynamics and ride quality. We'll be waiting until we've spent some actual wheel time in the X-Class before we make any sort of judgment, but the brief time on track was enough to reveal the new Benz should prove comfortable and capable on the road, disposing of high-speed corners easily. The shift from tarmac to dirt didn't seem to hurt the X-Class either, with the reworked suspension soaking up serious bumps and lumps easily, and summiting and descending loose dirt-covered hills without issue. Inside, there's plenty of Benz stuff going on, and the interior design team say they want this cabin to feel instantly recognisable as a Mercedes, so you get those circular air vents and a similar steering wheel to the C-Class. The screen is 7 inches, though a bigger 8.4-inch screen with Merc's command system is also available. Either way though, there's plenty of familiar Mercedes controls and switches in the interior. So while it might be hard to believe, the Mercedes-Benz Ute is coming, but what we don't know yet is price. Now in Germany, it'll start at about 35,000 euros, while in Australia, we're expecting it to land at the upper end of that Ranger or Hilux market. And if they can bring it in for around that money, we reckon they might be onto a good thing.